When you were born, the doctor turned around and slapped your mother?
You son of a motherless goat!
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress.
Hey, laser lips! Your mama was a snowblower.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
Recorded in the HFTI podcasting headquarters.
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
They're just two regular nobodies that can argue about anything.
I don't like your jerk-off face, I don't like your jerk-off behavior, and I don't like you.
From music and movies to daily life and terrible people. You're listening to Here for the... Hey, I'm D. Alvis, and I've interviewed tons of rock stars. Guys from Metallica, Poison, the ghost of John Bonham, even Gene Simmons' tongue. But none of them had the charisma, the sex appeal, or the talent of this guy right here. Welcome to How to Be a Rock Star with Big Matt Fisher.
I don't get much of a reason to play that intro that I had made very often, but anytime Sean's not here, I usually like to try to break it out. So,
right.
anyway,
That's a good one.
Anyway, welcome to another episode of Here for the Insults podcast. I am your host, Big Matt Fisher. Today, there is no Sean Deakins. He bailed. I don't know. He's got. Basically, you get every excuse in the world to bail out on shit once you procreate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I remember my boss used to bitch about it all the time because, like, he doesn't have kids, but there is some legit reasons. Like, you know, we would have employees that come in and not be able to make it because of whatever's going on with their kids. But then you would also get, like, the fuck-ups who we fired who would just always use that, and they would always miss work, and it would just always be constantly something. And it's like, at a certain point, it's like, you know, I remember talking to one guy, he's like, I got fucking kids.
Yeah.
I'm not winning any fucking Father of the Year award.
Yeah, I get
but
you.
I'm fucking here. Like, get your shit together. Anyway, I'm not saying that to bitch it, Sean. Maybe I am. Motherfucker. But we're still making it work out. It probably works out better because I still don't think he'd be able to wrap his head around much of our conversation. He would be here basically just to run the boards and the drop. We would lose him quick, I think. Anyway, I have Brandon Fergus. He's been on here once before, a long while ago. Tour manager of the Murder Junkies, singer of the Scurvy.
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm just happy to be.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I nagged the fuck out of you to be on the podcast constantly, just because I there's some people that like ask me to be on the show, but like I always kind of would rather have guests that have something to at least something to plug.
Yeah, I got
you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a couple friends of mine that come through here, and I'm not saying that they're uninteresting people or anything like that. It's just like you have the normal job or whatever. You can turn that off behind you if it's annoying you.
I'm using it to blow the cigarette smoke.
Yeah, dude. Normally Sean would have had that off because he's like, there's background noise.
I like it cool in here, though.
Oh yeah, dude. I run hot. I'm a big fat fuck, so I get it. I don't get when he's not here. I don't give a fuck about background noise because he'll. Most of this stuff doesn't pick up, but he'll wear like the headphones you have on. He'll listen back to it with like it screaming high,
I gotcha.
so he can overanalyze every little fucking background noise.
You
that
know what?
happens.
That little background noise will just get rid of the ringing in my ears, so that's good.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I mean,
I got you.
he just belly aches. Anyway, we're sitting here. We're drinking some rum. Cheers, brother.
Hey, yeah, man.
That wasn't
Rum
quite
and
into the
Cokes.
mics. We
Rum
should have
and
had that
Cokes.
into the mics just
Yeah,
to
right,
annoy
the
him.
little clink.
Yeah, because he loves all that excess noise. But I appreciate you coming by and all that.
Yeah.
You are one day You're 1 day removed from the tour starting?
I'm 1 day from picking the band up in Newark, New Jersey tomorrow, and then we drive from Newark to Connecticut and sit in a house in the middle of the woods, and they practice for 2 days, and I prep the van and load everything. Our first show's on next Wednesday.
Damn. That's what, 2 days? How long? How much time? What's a normal like junkie set list looking like as far as?
It's an hour set plus there's about a 15 to 20 minute drum solo at the end.
Oh, okay. How many songs do you think that is?
Well,
I know you put together the
funny
set
enough,
list,
I put the set list together,
Yeah.
and I send them CDs or whatever info they need about it. They just
cassettes.
Yeah, no, yeah, right, because they don't even know how to use the CDs. I actually sent the CDs this time, and it was all in MP3 format. And the drummer is so old, the only thing he has to listen to it on is an old pair of headphones with a little Walkman, like a Discman
And it doesn't.
CD, and it doesn't read MP3s. So so I took all this time to make CDs and send it to him, and he can't even hear anything. It doesn't work. So yeah, no, I mean, normally they do a set from their more recent album, and then there's a break for a minute in the drum solo. So 5 songs for that one, little drum solo. 5 songs from a mixture of their normal, last couple albums together. And then another drum solo, and then the last one is usually the first song on that, the last 5, because there's about 15 songs with the drum solos in between.
Right.
Is the one that I sing on, and I open up the last 5 songs of the set. And I sing on that one, and then there's
15 is a lot for an hour.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
and you're in the punk rock realm. I'm sure a lot of the songs are like only a minute or two,
a couple minutes long. Yeah, but then he fills in space doing his drum solos in between too. People like to hear that because the guy's been playing drums for 30 years.
Right. How's he doing? Good? Is he ready for this tour? I know that he was having health issues and stuff.
Well, he has a pacemaker now.
Oh.
He's 66 or 67, but he's got a pacemaker. He had a stroke, and he's still playing drums. And recently, last year, right before a tour, he found out that he got throat cancer. So he's been through chemo now, and he used to have
I only knew about the cancer.
Bright yellow hair and a big red beard.
Yeah.
Bald and no facial hair, and he looks like the guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, he looks like
straight up Michael Cranston.
or
Brian Cranston. Who's Michael Cranston?
I don't know. Look it up.
His brother or something. Hey.
No, he was Walter White.
Yes, yeah. He looks like him and he wears his little glasses too. So I don't know. He might have grown some hair back because that last photo I saw was a couple months ago. So we'll see.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it. I knew that he had the cancer thing. I didn't know about the
the other shit. He had the stroke the year before. He had the pacemaker put in the year before that, and he still drums and does a solo. So I am a little nervous for 47 days and 2 days off. He's got to play for that long every night, plus sleep in the van.
I would be worried about that with people at the age of 20. Like, I mean, straight up, when my boss, we were just making conversation, and I said that you were going to be in town, probably on the podcast, whatever, and I was talking about the same night that you're in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You're up against a big show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That metal show.
No, Static X.
Oh, shit, that's this one?
The same night. It is
wow.
That Static X
Yeah,
Devil
but
Driver
you know
thing.
what? The crowd is totally different.
Yeah.
Is that show close to the other one?
It's in the city. Baltimore's not that big.
It's not like when I walked down to that other venue that was like a couple blocks away.
No, it's on the other side of town.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's not. Like,
damn, I was going to try and sneak in.
Yeah.
I like Devil Driver. So.
I don't know that you could, like, hike there.
Yeah.
But you could definitely get, like, a cheap Uber over there or whatever.
It.
Yeah, it's not busy. Quite down the street. Where you guys are playing, there's, like, 3 venues within walking distance.
Oh, between the depot and that place?
Well, at the depot, because there's Metro Gallery right there.
Yeah, that's the place I saw the metal bands. I I just walked in. They didn't even ID me or check me to
Yeah, that's where I'm going tonight. That's where Reagan and
okay. That's a nice little place. It was kind of uppity. It seemed like a little upscale.
That might be some sort of bullshit they're trying to pull over.
I guess I'm used to like being at like the depot or like a little shithole bar.
The depot's cool though.
Yeah, no, but it's different. It's more it's more relaxed and punk rock than like having a venue that actually has like curtains hanging from the windows. It looked like last time I was in there. You know what I mean?
They have that going for them. Where I haven't been there in a while. Come to think of it, I think it's not so much for the metal crowd. I think they do like a lot of like indie rock kind. I know that like when I look through their lineup, there's like a bunch of stuff that I don't know what the fuck it is, but there's also been stuff going on there where it's like I don't know what this is, but it's fucking sold out.
I got you.
So I there's that. Wind-up space is within walking distance.
Yeah.
And the auto bar, it's a little bit further of a hike, but it's still within walking distance. I know that this doesn't really register to you at all, but the auto bar, I guess this week, that it had been known that it was going to be sold or whatever, and everybody was kind of like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do? The auto bar, blah blah blah. But what it looks like is that one of their longtime bartenders is buying the place, which is
well, that's cool. That's cool because they at least know the place too.
Yeah, and she's been there, I think, damn near most of the time the place has been open.
Well,
so
that's
it'll
perfect.
stay the same, which is great because when they said that they were selling, the first thing that went through my head was
it
like,
might even improve if she's been there that long. You
yeah,
know?
but I when I heard that they were selling, I felt like, oh, maybe the owners were just done with dealing with it, which I get. It's a lot of work to run a venue. But if you're selling it to whomever, and I'm sure maybe some corporate fucker can write you a nice check, and hey, yeah, you can take that fucking check and
I got
provide it pretty much fucking, but they're gonna you're gonna fuck the venue up. You gentrify it all up and make it like some sort of fucking hipster place.
Yeah, no need
and
for that.
That
place is cool, man. It needs to stay
the auto bar is the
way that it is.
It's a Baltimore staple.
So it's a landmark. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Pretty much.
Yeah, because we have a bunch of places that have been like multiple different venues or switch names or all that kind of bullshit, and like the auto bar has always been the auto bar.
I got you.
The only thing that they probably changed since I've been going there is just like with some of their booking selections. That used to be the spot for hardcore, and then they've kind of...
Well, you know what? They may have petered off as well. People, you got to book what you can get in there and, keep the bar rolling, right?
As far as I know, as an outsider, I think what it all boiled down to was they used to have... They used to do an event every year called the Fall Brawl, and it was like it was
hardcore bands. We talked about this.
Yeah.
I think,
And then somebody got their neck broken, but it was from a stage diver landing on them.
Oh Jesus!
Which is even worse. It wasn't from a stage diver going out and knocking his own self out. He fucking the way he landed on some dude.
Yeah.
Who
he should have cannonballed into the crowd, or don't go boots first.
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure I was at that one, but it's just when it would get to the headliners, it would be so much chaos. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But apparently this guy, he had been around in the scene because I know that they did like a couple benefit shows for him. But he had kids and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that sucks.
And young kids.
Hey, I'm all about having fun at a show, but when it comes down to being like that, it's like, dude, you got to be. Whatever. It's not. I don't like crowd. I don't like crowd killers. I don't like that kind of stuff.
No. Fuck a bunch of crowd killers, man. We can have a really good time and a really great show, and have just a normal push pit, and everybody will go home safe.
Yeah, well,
the hardcore kids like to fuck it up, and I'm not shitting on that because I love that stuff too. I love the chaos of it, but I also don't want to fucking hear it when all the hardcore kids go, well, what this place doesn't have us? Because you motherfuckers don't know how to act.
Yeah.
You fight like crazy. There's that place, the Raven Inn.
Yeah.
Right?
Sean's place.
Yeah. Well, apparently they had a hardcore show there and got a bunch of fucking holes knocked in the fucking wall.
I heard, and he was worried about doing shows there.
Yeah, dude. Because now you're fucking it up. You have a place where somebody is there.
I understand completely.
But nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. Hell, the band I take out does crazy stuff, and their fans do crazy stuff, but they don't do that.
Yeah, but it's hard to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times all the bullshit comes with a little bit of bullshit. So I get it as if you're running a venue or you're a promoter, I get. I totally understand any of those motherfuckers being like, I'm not touching that shit. You know? I get it. And it sucks, though. Because, like, I love going to those shows. But I'll get in the pit, but I'm not.
You're not doing spin kicks and
Not really.
cartwheels and
I'll
that's what those
two-step
kids
a little
do
bit.
that. Yeah.
And like, but like, I'm not out to hit anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to punch anyone in the face.
Yeah.
Even by accident. Like, I just don't. I don't want to. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. If anything, that's going to put me in the middle of a fight. And I do not want to fight. I'm not a combative motherfucker.
I got you.
I know that you've done plenty of it back in the day or whatever, and all bunch of shows. Like, this just not
but
my
those were
thing.
punk shows, man. That was like you go and you have a circle pit and everybody follows you around. You knock somebody down, you pick them right back up again. It isn't like you're, doing karate moves and spin kicks and doing backflips with your feet straight out in people's faces. And you know, it was different. It was totally different. It was punk rock. You're all drunk and you're whatever. It's not like straight edge hardcore where everybody's like,
I've got
tough
no
guy, or like bro hardcore where everybody's like, hey man, let's wear a tank top and do some fucking splits and side kicks and push-ups in the pit.
I love how you mentioned like the straight edge thing. It's just like, I don't do drugs, so all I do is fight at shows. Like,
yeah, well, it's because they're pent up like motherfuckers.
It's like, bro, man, smoke a fucking joint already, would you?
Well, it's like the Murphy's Law shows, man. That's why I like to go see Murphy's Law whenever they're around, because their shows are more like a party. It's still a hardcore show, but it's not people that are looking for. I guess it's still a release. When somebody's looking to go and dance like that and have, they're looking for.
No,
a
and
release.
it's fine. Like I said, it's fine to dance. It's fine to do whatever you want, but you need to be at least some sort of a bit of.
Yeah, I mean,
aware.
breaking somebody's neck at a show, that's kind of intense, man. That's like you really had to land on somebody like super hardcore.
Like, bro, I've stage dove, not recently, but like when I'm too fat, but even when I was a little bit thinner, I was still a fat fuck.
Yeah.
And I remember I stage dove several times at a terror show, but even when I did, I would get up on stage and like pause momentarily to look at the people.
Yeah, to make sure that you're
like, and give them like a hey, fat boy's coming your way. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna stand up there and try to disrupt the show. No, you gotta get. When I went to a Hatebreed show recently, during Terror, like God fucking, as far as I'm concerned, they own the night. Terror did, and I love Hatebreed.
Yeah,
but Terror fucking was on fucking fire.
I do like that band.
And Scott Vogel, like the only thing is like they don't normally do a whole lot of shows with a barricade. So he was like, "Get up here!" No
one can get up there.
No, security's being cool. I'm like, dude,
good luck.
I'm like, Scott, bro, you don't really know. Like, I mean, I know what you're getting at, but like, dude, don't get your own fans thrown out of the show trying to encourage them.
I mean, I saw Throwdown back in the day, and they did the same kind of stuff too because it was at a bigger venue, and they're like, "Oh yeah, come up here and hang out," and everybody's
talk about a
jump.
band that like fell off hard.
Well,
man.
yeah, it's because he was preaching all the straight edge stuff, and then he fucking dropped edge after he was like preaching like militant straight edge.
I just remember like.
After Haymaker, he went like.
I just remember because honestly, being that I was more of a metal guy.
Yeah.
They didn't really pop up on my radar until like their last two records, which were like, then everybody was like, that was a fucking Pantera ripoff.
Dude, it was just, but you know what? So was Haymaker. That album is the one that I heard him the first time. And then after that, it was totally like a Pantera style.
Yeah, but those albums are sick as shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
When I go for my walks, I get, I
you
go for walks.
I go for walks. Bow your head and shame.
No, I'm more like, for my friends, for my family. Yeah, that's the album. And that's what I'm saying. He went from being totally straight edge militant during that album to like, hey, I'm gonna start drinking and doing drugs again. And you know what? Here's the thing. That's fine and dandy.
But you're gonna
change your band. You're gonna change your fans. You're gonna change. Everything's gonna change.
Yeah, and like I think that kind of because they did get some big tours out of it. Because I remember seeing them. I want to say open for like Lamb of God, something like that.
I'm sure. But you know what? Back then, when they were opening for those kind of bands, Lamb of God was still like just coming back up because that was like they became they were what was it? Burn the Priest, and they became Lamb of God after that.
They were Burn the Priest for one record that nobody remembers.
Well, yeah, but I knew it. I knew it, and I'm a punk rock guy. You know what I mean?
I know, but what I'm saying is, there's a lot. Okay, even me included. There's a lot of people that know the Burn the Priest record, but like I wasn't a fan and didn't. You know what I mean? I heard about them later, and then went backwards and found the Burn the Priest record.
Yeah. I hate to admit this sometimes, but I worked for Hot Topic for 10 years, so. And it was like right in the heat of like
Hot Topic down.
Jesus. It was like right in the heat of like I listened to like Norma Jean and Evergreen Terrace and Throwdown, and when Terror's first album came out, I got the little 7-inch that they released through Hot Topic.
7-inch.
Yeah, which I still have. I did sell a lot of my records recently, but I still have that one. And the thing is, and who was the other band? Oh, Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I stopped at a toy store earlier and I showed you this awesome Punisher van that I got here in town. Uh-huh. The guy behind the counter was like, "Hey, you ever had anybody tell you look like the guy from Killswitch Engage?"
Jesse?
I didn't know that. Yeah, he said
Jesse
that was his
was
name.
the original singer.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. He's like, dude, he has the little flat top mohawk that goes back behind your head.
He does now.
See, I didn't know that. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of theirs, but I did listen to them back when I used to listen to that, Haymaker and what was that? Terror
they were
back then. Something in Glory or it's gonna
Terror
kill me.
album.
Yeah, man, it's
one
like
with the Underdogs.
First, well, that's a great album. It might have been around that time too. Yeah,
that album.
That was like around the same time as Norma Jean's Black album, and what was the other? I used to dig that stuff, man. There was a time period in my life when I would listen to that style of hardcore, Norma
Killswitch,
Jean,
though, I don't.
Under Oath is from Florida. I listened to them a bunch.
Killswitch was always like, I guess what I would define as metalcore.
Yeah.
I remember like I got into them based on a VHS tape.
Oh, okay.
My buddy had of Hellfest 2000.
Okay.
Which there's a Hellfest that's like a festival in Europe.
Yeah.
But this was like Hellfest, and it was like 2 days of like hardcore in like some place up in New England. And they were on that, but it was like them and like Bane.
Oh, okay.
And,
I remember Bane.
Yeah. But they were on it, and like they were lower level. I just remember what's funny on that VHS tape. They were a 4-piece. They've been a 5-piece like forever now.
Okay.
And Adam D. He's the main guy. He's more the face of the band than even Jesse is, because they had that black guy Howard for a while.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah. Jesse was on their first 2 albums, and then Jesse said he didn't want to like scream that much anymore or some shit, and he left, and he was in a band called like Seamless, and nobody gave a shit. and then like years later, Howard quit or got fired. I don't fucking know, and they brought Jesse back, and that's when I got back into Killswitch, because I was a Jesse guy. Like Howard was great, and
it's
Howard,
a different style, yeah.
And Howard had a way more distinct, like singing voice, and he got them to be popular. Like most everybody I know, at least your more standard metal fans, they didn't even know that there was a guy before Howard.
Oh well, yeah.
They got into Killswitch Engage when they heard Howard go, "Seek me."
Yeah, but that's kind of
I'll be waiting. Like,
yeah, that's too much for me, man.
If you go see him now, they still play that. Just Jesse sings it.
Okay.
He still sings. Whichever was like, oh, he can't. He does a good job.
Okay.
Like, and Alive or Just Breathing. That's the name of their one main record with Jesse.
Did you ever listen to Evergreen Terrace?
I know them. I can't say that I've listened to a whole lot of them.
So there was a place in St. Pete that we used to go to back when I listened to those bands and stuff, but I was more into punk rock, man. I mean, I hung out with like, the punks and the skinheads and stuff down there. So
clarify that.
Yeah, not
clarify
non-racist skinheads. They're sharps, yeah.
Well, so hold on. For anyone listening, because seriously, I as a metal guy who was a little bit disconnected from punk and hardcore as far as that, like honestly, up until probably 7 or 8 years ago, I never knew that there was another version of Skinheads.
There's like 10 different branches of that shit now, man.
Like
seriously, they're just the
only thing I ever heard was like, neo-Nazi Skinheads.
Yeah, but of course. But when I grew up, I listened to like traditional reggae and ska because I was into, the first band I heard that was a punk band besides the Misfits or Gwar, because it was the first couple of shows I went to, was Rancid. And Rancid, all their songs
a stretch calling Gwar a punk band.
What? They were fucking punk rock.
They have albums.
They were metal, but it was punk rock to me, man.
They definitely do have, because even he's, I remember there was one interview with Brocky before he passed.
Yeah.
And he was
friends with punks, man.
Yeah, and he was going through their timeline of albums. And it was on some interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's when we thought we were a punk band for a couple years."
Oh, I gotcha. No, but what I was saying about Evergreen Terrace was, I got into those hardcore bands, and I was listening to Terror and Throwdown and stuff, and I was like, you know what? This band Evergreen Terrace is pretty good too. I think I'm gonna go see them. So I saw that they were playing in St. Pete by my house, and it was at a church though, which was a little different because I didn't realize that the bands, some of these hardcore bands were into, not necessarily, Catholicism, but they were into like Christianity. So
yeah,
I showed up at the show with some traditional.
I'm not a fan of that.
Like reggae style skinheads that listen to like Desmond Decker and like that, like the old. Do
you know how ridiculous that?
Yeah, but
I know what
you
you're
don't
saying.
know though. You've not.
It was honestly, and there was like, there was like non-racist skinheads. But my whole thing is like, I wouldn't want to be classified as any kind of skinhead.
Well, we showed up
because
at the
I feel
show,
like any skinhead, like that's a fucking bad fucking look.
Trust me, no, I totally agree. I don't surround myself with any of those people anymore. Although back then I was a sharp.
Yeah, back then. Because, like, now I just feel like that is nothing but being a crew of possibly getting yourself into trouble.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter what side's what. But, we went to go see this Evergreen Terrace show because I was like, you know what, I want to check this band out. And it was at a church, and there was, like, 6 of us in the bed of a pickup truck that showed up. And I had my mohawk, and we were all studded up. And we didn't realize, hey, these dudes aren't really down with that style of punk rock. I can't wear my Gigi Allen shirt into their church to go see a hardcore show.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, there ended up being a fight because I didn't know that they were into like straight edge and they weren't into that. We're sitting in the parking lot drinking basically, and it was at a church, and you're not really supposed to do that, and we didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, they're yelling stuff at us, and one of my friends throws a beer across the parking lot, full on like Hail Mary style, and it shatters all over Evergreen Terrace and all over their band. So the weirdest thing about a Christian band is I never thought they would charge at us across the parking lot with a dildo.
What?
So we got in a fight with Evergreen Terrace and the 2 opening bands in the church parking lot in St. Pete, Florida, a bunch of punk rockers, and my friend got his mirrors busted off his truck and a bunch of people fighting with a big dildo at a church parking lot. So that was like my hardcore experience.
Who runs at a person...
Dude, how did they even have that? I mean, it must have been in their tour van. It was probably a joke, whatever. But it was crazy to see some dude from Evergreen Terrace come running. And years later, mind you, I booked that band and had to make like custom tickets and all kinds of stuff. And I just kind of laughed about like,
right? Isn't it
I'm
funny?
like, man, this really happened. And then I got asked to book this band in town again, like 10 years later. So, I mean, that was my first hardcore experience, though. That was the first hardcore show I ever went to.
And you had somebody charge.
And I had a Christian, like not straight edge, but a Christian style band named after the street the Simpsons lived on, chasing me.
Is that what it's named?
Evergreen
after?
Terrace, yeah. They're named after
idea.
the street the Simpsons lived on.
I never.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I was getting that confused with Soylent Green, which is another green.
Oh, I got you.
Because I know what Soylent Green is named after, which is like that movie.
People.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never even seen the movie. I just know that about like everybody joking about Charlton Heston, they going like, Soylent Green is people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
Dude, I don't have that. I remember when I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Local bands and stuff used to play at we just called it Woods, but it was like the venue. I know that it was like it was on church property.
Yeah.
And it was like a little hall, and I remember that they just had a sign that said, what the fuck, Holy Grounds, like church hall or some shit like that.
Yeah. And they did shows.
But it was I don't know exactly why we called it Woods. Now I come to think of it, I'm sure somebody that's listening to this could hit me up.
Yeah.
But that's what I always refer to as it. And I just remember that it just started off, and I mean, there was no alcohol served there, but there was no one that was of age there.
Well, yeah, like that one
either.
I went to, they served like punch and
Yeah.
cookies and water, and it
Yeah.
was in a church gymnasium.
Yeah,
and
there
I'm
was-
watching Evergreen Terrace get down, and people are spin kicking in basketball shorts and whatever. And I was
Right.
just like, man, this is. I mean, it was totally different to me because I like wore boots and leather, and my leather and spikes and studs and what. So I just wanted to check out this band because I dug a couple songs that I heard.
Right. Yeah, it was. That's. I mean, kind of also like when we. But before we went on air, we were talking about like first shows we attended. I just used to go there all the time because like mom didn't. It was in Severna Park, which wasn't far from Pasadena.
Okay.
And she didn't
Yeah,
mind
I know
me,
where that is.
Yeah, like she didn't mind dropping me off there to see us. It was like $5 at the door, and it was church property. So there was always like when I first started going, when you went outside, all you could smell was weed.
Okay.
And there was people, boozing outside, all
Yeah.
that shit. But nobody
If
was.
it ain't allowed inside, then it happens outside.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, smoking weed's not really allowed anywhere inside. I mean,
Oddly enough, all these Murphy's Law shows that I go to and stuff, people just smoke right there in the venue.
Yeah, but they're on a smaller scale of things
Yeah, I
where like
guess.
people just don't give a fuck. Like, and they know what like who they have there. But a bigger venue like Rams Head Live down in the city. I remember. This was also when you could still smoke in a venue, like
Yeah.
cigarettes. I'm sure you still run. Is there places like that?
Oh yeah,
in the
down
States?
in Florida, right where I'm at.
You
Foo
still
Bar,
can?
Foo Bar took it away where I was doing all my shows. But the Emerald Bar, it's like you walk in and it's just a cloud of cigarette smoke. I
Oh,
mean,
shit.
Yeah, but it's also like Cheers in there too. It's all like wooden. Everything's all old school.
Right.
So it kind of fits that you're still allowed to smoke a cigarette in there.
It's
you
just
know?
normally like anytime like you hear like laws like that. If you hear that like Cali passed that law, you best believe the DC is going to pick it up,
Yeah.
and that Maryland's going to pick it up. Like
Wow.
it's just like the most recent thing here. Not that any of it matters to me now. I'm 33 years old. I'm actually kind of okay. I was bitching because like when I turned 21, we could still smoke in bars, and then they took it away. And I remember being like, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's part of being in the bar." I'm actually okay with it, even
Yeah.
as a smoker, because like I remember, a night at the bar, like where I'd wake up in the morning and like you have like just clothes that are like just sitting in the corner of the room from whatever you were wearing last night, and it was the same as like being in front of a fucking campfire.
Yeah, try having like,
It was like, oh my
a foot
God.
tall mohawk that
Oh.
smells like cigarette smoke and beer when you come home from a venue the next
and you
day.
don't even smoke.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But like, and then like most all like the local bars, they got like cool little decks and stuff, and I'm like, this is better.
Yeah.
Like, whatever your stance is on it,
Mm-hmm.
even if you are a smoker, like, bro, it's annoying to some people. Get
Yeah, I
over
mean,
it.
I don't know how you sing for a band and smoke because that's my biggest thing is like I have to have lung capacity when I sing,
Well, I don't sing. But,
well, come on.
I just
You're still very vocal, so it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
just in regular, everyday life. I talk to you, you're very vocal,
Yeah. I mean, I know that I can't like identify. I know that there's plenty of singers that smoke.
Yeah.
I know as far as screamers go, Randy from Lamb of God. I think he just vapes now.
He did like voice coaching and stuff too, though, didn't he? He went like to learn how to.
I think that was after the Burn the Priest record and the
Yeah.
first Lamb of God record.
To help with his vocals.
Because he was going so hard
Yeah.
on those first two albums where, like, which, like, hey, that sounds great. One, you're not going to be able to reproduce that
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
No, you're
on
gonna blow
tour.
your
You're
throat
gonna
out.
fucking kill
Yeah.
yourself. And, I mean, there's guys that weren't doing it that hard who've had like multiple vocal, and he hasn't. But I know that like all one thing he was like, because it was on the Johnson show. I know I bring this fucking shit up on the podcast all the time. But he was saying, like, because he was smoking, and, like, Jamie's like, well, you have to quit, right?
Yeah.
And then Randy was like, well, yeah. He's like, but it helps the voice. Which I know that sounds crazy, but it does give you a little bit of an extra growl. I'll admit to that. Same thing with having a couple drinks.
Well, yeah, I mean, put some whiskey in me, my throat's a little better.
Yeah, as far as just screaming. But, like, if I was a guy who was going to do screaming and then also, like, try to do clean singing, I would have to knock all that shit off.
Yeah, because you got to be able to change your vocal cords like that, and if they're swollen from putting poison in your throat.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be so,
No, dude, fucking.
It's the same thing as me drinking whiskey on stage. It tears your throat up. You know what I mean?
It's mainly I notice it like when I go, and I love going out and do karaoke and stuff like that. But I know I could sit here in my basement sober, and sing the fuck out of something way better than when I go do karaoke and have a couple drinks. Even like my girl, like she always says, "Did you do some shots?" And I'm like, "What?" And she can like pick up on it. Yeah, and she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I can tell when you've done some shots because your voice gets like lower and more growly."
Oh, I got you.
Even just when I'm speaking. So, but I mean, I if we do, I'm totally. We've discussed it. I'm totally okay with doing some clean vocals. I haven't found a spot for them.
Yeah,
where I feel comfortable with it, and like I really don't want my band to be like reclassified because I do clean vocals on a song.
Understood.
Not that I'm just in a little local band. People, this is another rant I want. People think that they're way bigger deals than they are.
I got you.
I think there's been a whole lot of shit talk on the social medias here recently, where like people are not attacking, but they're like shitting all over like certain promoters. The only funny thing is it's like all promoters that I work with a lot.
Yeah.
And
no matter how softly you say that.
No, it doesn't matter. Because, like, me, no, I'm down to play with anybody. I don't, like, they're complaining because they're like, oh, well, like, they're pay-to-play promoters.
Okay.
And it's like, I have no issue. I don't like selling tickets. It sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, I also understand.
It's the nature of the beast, man. Either you're the promoter or you're the band on the show, and you're still helping the show get.
If you as a promoter have a headliner booked where they have a guarantee.
Yeah.
And you're getting a spot that could possibly, put you in front of a bunch of people who would never see you in any other capacity.
Yeah.
I don't think it's asking a whole lot to try to sell tickets locally. It sucks, and I get that, but basically they're putting it like they've already. I mean, the mentality of it, at least as far as I've noticed, because none of these promoters have ever told me, oh, you have to sell 20 tickets or you can't play.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Which no, like, but that's what they're acting like. Which I've never heard that from any of the promoters. Maybe one of these guys has told these bands this, and that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But,
well, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm a promoter, so I don't do the sell tickets thing, but I do work with bands that work with me, and they want to not only bring that band to town, but they would like to share a stage. So I have, whoever's in charge of that band comes to me and says, listen, I will guarantee towards your guarantee to help you have that band in town. And it works. It doesn't mean they have to sell the tickets. It just means that, hey, I want that in my town and I want to get up there and I want to share a stage. I don't ask them to do it. They just do it now.
Yeah, but I mean, the flip, in the defense of these promoters, where these people are like running their mouths about and all that kind of stuff, if it's just a local band show, yeah, that's kind of fucking sucks. But like, there's places where like that's just the fucking like that's just how it works.
Yeah,
and it's basically you're not big enough to demand a guarantee, so the promoter who also has A lot of times, a promoter's running like every show at a venue.
Okay.
And, like, bro, they got a lot of shit in their laps. So, like, here, I'm gonna give you the tickets, and then that way, like, nobody really knows you. But if you guys want to get paid, like, bro, just sell some tickets, man, and like, I'll take care of you. I don't see how that's being shitty.
But
that's
that
how
person's
they're taking
doing
it.
that many shows, and if you have to put out a guarantee out of your pocket for like 10 shows in a month for bands, if you have one show go wrong because a band that you book brings no one, then you may end up being screwed for the rest of their shows.
That's my only thing. It's like, please take yourself out of the scenario for a moment.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, and think about what that person might be going through. And especially if you come off the heels of putting up a guarantee, which, like, the venue is the venue, and they're just going to leave it in the promoter's pocket. Like, they have a bar to run. Their whole thing is like, here's your room. Get people in here to buy drinks.
Well, that has to do with a relationship between a promoter and a venue and what venue they work with, because not everybody does their business the same way.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but I'm just saying in broad strokes. At least from what basically two of the venues that we play at it. That's kind of the setup. Right? Like the one guy that books us at one place, like, I mean, he does every fucking show there.
Okay.
And he's stacked, like, and that place gets good shows, and that place gets bigger shows, and that's because he's got but I mean, he does this stuff, but, like, I mean, he's not out to fuck you.
Yeah,
nobody's forcing you to take these shows on the other part of it. Like, you could bitch and piss and moan all over Facebook, and people can share it and say, hey, we got to run these promoters out of fucking town. Because, like, that's what I'm seeing a lot of. And my whole thing is like, yo, like, you're doing this the wrong way. If you don't like that business model, then the people that are booking the shows, like, stick to them, right? But don't motherfuck everybody else. Like, we're all... My main thing is, like, yo, we were all in the same fucking boat here, for fuck's sake.
People don't understand that,
like,
I mean, but then again, there are, bands or promoters that are out there just for themselves. There's bars that are out there just for themselves. They don't care about the music. They just do what they think is going to be the best for them. And you know what? If it means telling a local band they got to sell 30 tickets or they're never playing there again.
I can assure you of one thing. If a venue is going to do whatever they think is best, the first thing they're going to do is not book original metal. Straight up.
I
like,
gotcha.
And I mean,
well, it depends on what venue you're working for.
Unless it's just a music venue. But if you're just running a bar, like any of the bars like in Pasadena and shit, guess what? Not a fucking one of them fucking books goddamn original metal. Like, even if... I remember going to one bar in Pasadena, and they booked Fade to Black, which is... Metallica cover.
I was gonna say it has to be, or otherwise they just name their band after
bro. And they came out there, and I went to that because it was them, and then there was another local tribute band called Sea of Sorrow, which is an Alice in Chains tribute. I had nothing to do that night, and I was like, I wanted to go honestly for the Alice in Chains tribute. There's a million Metallica tributes.
Yeah, well,
and when Metallica's the Metallica cover band went on. They were good, like, as far as, like, they had really good musicians.
Mm-hmm.
The singer didn't really sound much like old James or new James.
Okay.
He just sounded like a growler. And
like, hey, I'm gonna sing some Metallica songs.
I didn't hear them play a single song past Justice.
Oh, okay.
Dude, they cleared that bar. Everyone left. I was all about it.
Yeah.
But... when
I'm a big Metallica fan, and I have been since I was a kid. That
all
was
they did was play
first.
And I was all about it because all they were playing, like, they finished up the set with like a couple songs off of Black Album, but like, dude, it was all like they were bringing the fucking heat, and I loved it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I bet you that they never got invited back because you saw all because you see like girls coming in, like it's a Saturday night, you know. And
they're playing like Kill 'Em All or like Master of Puppets.
They were playing like the song Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. But damn it ain't right. And I was like down the front, fucking jamming out.
Yes.
But you would see these girls come in and like 360.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was some dude in spandex up there, they might have hung out for him.
No, if they did, yeah, not even in the spandex. Like if they were playing like just like the party '80s rock kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like they would have
Motley
stayed.
Crue.
Yeah. Ugh.
Did you watch?
I tried.
You almost just said the same
tried.
thing to me. Did you watch that?
I tried.
I did watch it, and you know what? Here's the thing.
I got halfway through it and turned it off.
I like movies. I'm a movie
I thought it was
guy.
too corny.
It is corny. It is corny, but at the same time, it's like, well, first off, it was kind of weird to see dude as the drummer in that Machine Gun Kelly, the hip hop guy. That's who the drummer was in that.
Yeah. I know that. I don't know anything about MGK,
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
But he got a pass from me.
Yeah, he learned how to play all those all of that, and I'm a Tommy Lee fan, so
Well, even
he laughed. I am.
I'm a fan of that big old dick.
No, he's a crazy bastard, and that's the thing. When you are gonna make music like that, you have to have a little bit of crazy. And yes, that movie that came out, Dirt or whatever, it was bubblegum version of what happened.
Here's this had nothing to do with that, but
Yeah.
this is why MGK gets a pass from me. Okay. I haven't so much recently, but I'm a wrestling fan.
Okay.
And normally anytime there is a musical guest on Raw, you best believe I'm leaving the room whenever they come on.
Okay.
Because like normally it'd be like, oh, we have Flow Rider, or we have I know Florida Georgia Line, that fucking garbage pop country shit. Like, if you if you're listening to this and you like Florida Georgia Line, let it be known that I think you're a fucking dumbass.
And so do I.
I'm not gonna apologize for that shit. I'm not gonna apologize. Enjoy your mom jeans and your backyard barbecue bullshit music. MGK, Machine Gun Kelly was and I knew nothing
guest
about him.
on there or something?
He was a
Okay.
musical guest, and I knew nothing about him, and of course I immediately dismissed it, right?
Yeah.
And even when he was on there doing his rapping shit, like
Yeah.
I got up to piss, make a sandwich, whatever, and he got done, and probably my favorite wrestler in the WWE current system, just because I watched him come up through Ring of Honor. I love this guy, Kevin Owens.
Okay.
He was Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor. I like him because he's also a fat guy. He wrestles. But he's so super mobile, super agile. He just has a gut. He looks like me in cut off sleeve t-shirts and gym shorts and like knee pads and boots. And he just comes walking out right as soon as like MGK's like done rapping.
Yeah.
And he's just eyeballing him.
Yeah.
And like MGK's like, what's up? What's up? And he goes over, kicks him in the gut, and powerbombed him off the fucking stage. But I also know Machine Gun Kelly had to at least agree to that or say he
just
wanted
to have some fun,
No, apparently I heard afterwards that like Machine Gun Kelly like pushed the issue.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
So he gets a pass.
Yeah.
Plus, like he got it from because after when it happened. Like, dude, I was off the couch running in circles around my fucking living room. And I said, that was the best musical guest Monday Night Raw has ever fucking had.
And I know you're into wrestling and stuff. And, when I went to my buddy's toy shop, I bullshit with him a couple times about the wrestling stuff.
Bubba.
But, and I dug through because he's got like boxes and boxes full of wrestling toys, all the new stuff too, even like when they made them as like zombies and like
I saw that.
All loose toys, and when I saw the old school Sheik and like that was the only one in the box that was even like, I was like, well, I remember that. And it has the Iran on the back of it. So or Iraq, sorry. Iran. Whatever.
No, you had it right the first time. Yeah, he's Iran.
But still, that was somebody I remembered, so that's why I had to bring you the toy tonight or whatever.
And I appreciate that because I love me some Iron Sheik.
Yeah, man.
There is a documentary on him floating around. I know it was on Netflix at one point.
I watched it, yeah.
Oh, did you? The Sheik?
That's why I thought we were talking about stuff earlier where he was talking about Jake the Snake and make fun of him, fun of him. So I was like, dude, that was totally in that documentary.
It was basically him being he wasn't wrestling anymore, but he was still a train wreck. I think he's sober now. It's amazing that the Sheik
Jake the Snake?
No, both.
Wow.
And Iron Sheik.
It's amazing he's still alive.
Yeah. No, it is. Because like Iron Sheik's like in his 70s now, I think. Well, he got into wrestling a little bit late. Like his backstory, like, dude, he was legit. Like legit would fuck you up. And like he was like one of their like locker room enforcer guys.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, you could be built and be a pretty boy and look good in the ring, but like, dude was part, like, you know, he used to coach fucking wrestling shit.
Oh,
He was a fucking bodyguard for the fucking Shah.
Okay.
In Iran. Like, dude, yo will fuck you up.
Yeah,
like,
well, you know.
I mean, he left there after they had the whole coup and like the fucking Shah was like assassinated. And
Well,
he
it's cool that he went into that because he's very charismatic and he's always been that way, you know? He just has that, like, that attitude to him.
Well, he had
know?
the background of Greco-Roman wrestling, so I don't know exactly how I got picked up because they said he was working for one like Midwest promoter, but like at first he was still learning how to speak English and he was driving a box truck with like the ring and stuff in it for this guy. And he's like, oh, you know, and then like that. I mean, and then they have him like cut promos. With
you know what though? I mean, if you work your way up in that stuff, then that's how you end up, you know, being known.
He was
respected,
dude. He's the start of Hulkamania. It's the truth.
That's who he fought.
Hulkamania. No, he dropped the belt to Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Hulk Hogan's first world title was
to Sheik.
Yeah,
okay.
But Sheik only had it for like 2 months because he beat Bob Backlund.
Okay,
Bob Backlund,
I remember that name too.
Yeah. So like the whole thing was that Vince and they wanted to get the title on Hogan, but Hogan can't go beat Bob Backlund for it.
I got
because
you.
Bob Backlund was another babyface good guy.
Yeah, so they wanted to have a villain. I got you. I understand how
so they made Sheik beat Bob Backlund.
I gotcha.
So that's stuff you know now.
Hey, you know, I did watch wrestling when I was a kid, you know, but that was like, I liked Macho Man, I liked Ultimate Warrior, I mean, I liked Hogan, you know, but that was that time period, you know. That was like the time period where as soon as wrestling was over, it was either Knight Rider or MacGyver came on. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's what I remember, you know, as a kid. I was just watching
as a kid. Yeah, I watched some of it back then too, and then I got really big into it again, like when I was like 11 or 12. But that's also right at the beginning of the Monday Night Wars, where they had like Raw and Nitro were like right up against one another, and like that's when like everybody pulled out all the stops, you know, and like that's when I don't know that was definitely like the biggest era for professional wrestling as far as ratings were concerned.
I got you.
Everybody was.
I mean,
watching
I watched like
everybody, bro. I had teachers in school.
Oh yeah,
like fucking rattling off rock fucking promo shit. You know, and that or like I would go in there and what was that, Christian? Giving props to my peeps.
No, see, like I watched it when, you know, Hogan was in Rocky, Thunder Lips. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or when
that was still
Andre the Giant was in Princess Bride.
That
like
was
that
still
kinda,
some
that's
time before the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Like basically what really kicked that off was WCW getting Hogan, and then they turned him heel.
Well,
and that was that reinvented him because
dyed himself all black and like
because they were saying that like people just were getting mainly adults, kids like shit, whatever, but like the adults were like booing Hogan because they were just tired of seeing the yellow and red and him beating everyone. And then, like, you know, then he came out there, it was Bash at the Beach, like 95 or 96.
And that was NWO or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was part of that?
Well, they had they were the Outsiders, and that was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, which was Diesel.
Kevin Nash was Diesel, yeah.
Diesel and Razor Ramon.
Okay.
Just showed up.
And Razor Ramon,
They showed up on WCW, and they kept talking about there was a third guy.
Yeah.
And they and like them two were in the ring beating down Macho Man.
Yeah.
And here comes Hulk Hogan, like, you know, he's in the yellow and the red.
Yeah.
And like you think he's gonna clear house, and then he just goes in there, and then he just fucking leg drops Macho Man.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, then it was the NWO, brother. When you're in the NWO, you're in the NWO for life.
Jesus.
Yeah, bro. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, the NWO was people like the shit on, like, because WCW fizzled out and they went, like, overboard with it. But, like, for a little while there, dude, the NWO was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
I gotcha.
At least when I was a kid. You know?
I gotcha.
When I went to fucking Ocean City, there's, like, the boardwalk there. You know, and they just sell nothing but T-shirts related to whatever kids are into.
Yeah.
That dude was nothing but wrestling T-shirts.
Oh,
I had a bunch of them back then.
Yeah, it's been. I don't really watch anymore. I have a lot of friends.
And then
that
Hogan
do
started
and
coming out there
whatever,
with the fucking world title with the NWO spray paint on it, playing it with the fucking Voodoo Child.
Yeah, dude,
Well, I'm standing next to a
Flashback.
mountain, chopping down with the whip of my hand. Oh, do you? Yeah, you guys, we'll kill it. I gotta get going anyway. We're at 53 minutes, dude.
Yeah, we're hanging out, man. It was cool to come by before I leave for
dude.
tour and bullshit and talk wrestling and toys and.
What's your yeah, if you guys want to see the Murder Junkies and go check out his give me your Baltimore date.
Yeah, so I mean,
what's the
Baltimore date? I believe is like the 27th or 26th here. Let's see, it is the 28th. Sorry, of June.
June 28th.
Yeah, G.G. Allen's band, the Murder Junkies.
It's the same night as like I said you're be competing against the Static X show, but.
It's not the same crowd.
No,
it's more of a
and
punk rock crowd.
I have I have my opinions on the Static X thing because like they're doing.
I don't know who's singing.
No, and apparently he's gonna wear a mask to kind of look like Wayne Static, and I think that they're trying to keep it under wraps. Here's the thing: prior to that, I learned this in podcasts and whatever. When Tony Campos owned half of the name.
Okay,
he would not
I saw
give
some
it.
stuff
Yeah,
online.
he would not give it back to Wayne Static. And Wayne Static, the last couple of years that he was live, was touring just as Wayne Static because he could not use the name Static X.
Okay,
and they constantly beefed and hated each other.
Yeah,
all of this is Tony Campos seizing the opportunity to make money on a name that he fought. That's what.
Well, so in other words, don't go see that. Come see
go
hang out at the Depot.
Fuck that. Go to fucking Depot. This motherfucker's trying to
Punk
make
rock.
money on a fucking dead body. Nobody gave a fuck about Tony Campos when he was just playing bass on this fucking album. Everybody knew who fucking Wayne Static is. It wasn't Tony Campos going, go Rosa. Go to fucking Depot and go see the Murder
Wisconsin
Junkies.
death trip right there.
Yeah, go get on board this Wisconsin death trip. Get on it. Or the brush your surface off the grind on it.
It's been a while since I listened to that album,
surface off the grind on it.
No, but
it's
cool to hang out with you before I leave for tour.
Yeah,
so
dude,
a couple of days in
I
town
always
here
miss
in
you,
Maryland,
brother.
So.
You're my dude. I love having you around. I will definitely be at that show. Of course, because I know where my fucking royalty lies. So if the rest of you are at that other fucking shit, you're just fucking posers, motherfucker. Go see some real fucking shit. All right. With that, I'm gonna stop this fucking podcast. We will catch you next week. And toodles.
And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?